when we're constantly being distracted, it is very difficult to know what we truly internally want for ourselves, because we have this whole external world that's just grabbing for our attention, and without even realizing it, we're being sucked into this. So I just completed 12 laps of this beast. My previous best was 10 laps, so that's the longest I've ever done around this hill. And yeah, sweat out the demons for another day. Feeling good. So yeah, beautiful day out in Bay. Primo, mate. Right, back from the hill, straight to the camera. Fresh as a daisy, mate. And yeah, bloody good run actually. I've never done 12 laps around that hill before. It's a route that I do a lot. It's a real gut check kind of workout that I do. I've got certain times that I try and achieve, but today I just was in this flow and just basically just felt like carrying on. So yeah, my previous best was 10 laps just in terms of endurance of this route. Decided to push to 12 today, so that's pretty cool. I guess you could technically call that a personal best, so I'll record that time down and try and get that time down. But anyway, yeah, running is a really great time to get in your head and sort of process, you know, any demons, any thoughts, any whatever it is, process whatever's going on in your life. And I was actually thinking about a conversation I had with one of my clients at the gym today, this morning. Had an early morning session with him, and we had a really good chat. We always have really cool conversations. He's a really top bloke, old Mark. So anyway, we were conversating about a book that he's read recently, and it's about accessing creativity and how we can basically create certain environments to improve our chances of being creative and having breakthrough moments and things like that. But it's something I've been really trying to hone in on in terms of my lifestyle in the past few months, and just really trying to surrender to the flow of life, so to speak, in terms of becoming more of a vessel for creativity and receiving things as opposed to forcing things. Sometimes when we're being too analytical and constantly trying to force an idea, it can be very counterproductive. But when we get out of our own way, so to speak, that's when those aha moments come to life. So that's what myself and Mark were talking about this morning. And yes, I just thought this is a really cool opportunity to talk about this topic, because a lot of us are distracted more than ever with modern day technology. You know, we're bombarded with other people's lives, and we're so attached to distractions. We have a distraction at the palm of our hands, literally in our pocket every single day, our phone. And when we're constantly being distracted, it is very difficult to know what we truly internally want for ourselves, because we have this whole external world that's just grabbing for our attention, and without even realizing it, we're being sucked into this. And so I have a very basic practice that I do almost every day to get out of my mind and allow creativity to flourish. And it's basically just going for a walk. That is one of my main practices that I do. But there's a certain special approach to it that allows for the creativity to surface. And so that's not allowing any distractions to get into my mind. So often when I'm out running, I'm always giving people a fright because they've got their bloody headphones in and they can't hear anything around them. And I try to warn them as I'm running up behind them, and then they always get this jump and they get a fright. And it's just, and this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about here. Even when we get a small opportunity in our day to have time to ourselves, we're still distracting ourselves with podcasts and music and whatever it may be. And none of this is a bad thing. However, if we don't give ourselves quiet time alone, truly just doing nothing then we cannot process these thoughts. And it's not just about processing creativity, it's just about processing daily stresses and anything, basically anything in our life that we're trying to figure out. And so I find that when I'm walking and I have no distractions, I have nothing in my headphone, I have no headphones on, I'm not looking at my phone, I'm just being in the moment, and it's just this perfect environment for figuring things out. And so I'll have all these problems circling around in my head, right? And I just decide to not think about them, not focus on them. So all I do is I listen to my breath, nasal breathing generally if I'm walking. If I'm running and I'm heaving, then obviously it's got to be out the mouth. But anyway, looking at my surroundings, listening to the birds, breathing in the fresh air, looking at the trees, looking at the sun, and then all of a sudden you get this little ding in your head, and just a thought just seems to pop up out of nowhere. And these are these breakthrough moments. And it's about relinquishing the control that we want to constantly have over our lives. We want to have everything planned out and everything figured out, so we're not stressing about the future. And it's all these frantic thoughts that we're trying to hold on to and control. If we can give ourselves this moment where we're alone in our own thoughts and let those thoughts just sit off to the side temporarily, then we become a vessel. Israel Adesanya talks about it all the time, how he blends his hard training with his creativity and his imagination and his visualization. It's all the same stuff. It all comes from the same energy source. And when we can just tap out of our mind, let ourselves breathe, let ourselves just be, then that's where these moments come from. These breakthrough moments, whether it's figuring out a problem, whether it's having this creative breakthrough for a creative outlet or endeavor, doesn't really matter what it is. It's something that's always accessible for us. That's the point I wanted to make in this video. It's always accessible. It's always there. We just have to make the time in our day-to-day lives and just force ourselves to be in this uncomfortable situation temporarily so we can break through to the other side. Because a lot of us are very uncomfortable being by ourselves. We're very uncomfortable being bored with not having a distraction. So taking that first step can be extremely difficult. But that's why we can just break it down to something simple like going for a walk, or if you've got some peaceful area that you have, it might even just be at your home, or it might be somewhere local, a local park, whatever it may be. You might have a nice peaceful place that you can just simply sit and literally just sit there and do nothing. It seems like such a silly, simple concept. It seems too good to be true. It seems too simple. But it's just such a powerful practice, just being in silence and trying to get out of your head and then allowing these thoughts to come to the surface. And it's not necessarily just going to work immediately. We've become so accustomed to having instant access and instant gratification for things. Pop a pill for bad symptoms and jump on our phone, and we've got applications for everything, and all this stuff is great, but it's taking away from our basic needs. And one of those basic needs is just silence. Just sitting and being in our own thoughts. If we don't give ourselves that, then we don't really know who we are, and we can't really flourish. We can't realize the gifts that we have within us. So yeah, basically the point of this whole ramble is just the importance of finding time for yourself and sitting with yourself. So not necessarily sitting in your thoughts, but just being alone by yourself, just in a nice, quiet and peaceful setting, and allowing thoughts to surface or thoughts to gather themselves and seeing what happens, because it can be a really beautiful process. It can be painful, but on the other side of that, we get to know who we are. We can remember things that we love doing, and the distractions of the modern day fast-paced life can be put to the side temporarily and we can remember what we want to get out of life. Because life is a sensory experience, you know. We are able to create music and create art, and we feel things internally that we can't necessarily put into words, but it's this feeling and this experience that we are living with every single day. That is our reality. It's not what's out there in the world. It's how we feel internally. And if we don't know how we feel internally, if we just constantly put up walls and distractions, how are we going to enjoy our lives? So I know that may be getting a little bit deep now, but I just think it's a very important conversation to have with other people and especially with yourself. So yeah, if you get anything from this video, just take 10 minutes out of your day, go sit by a tree, go for a walk, and take away the distractions. Leave the phone, leave the headphones, and just be by yourself. It will do you wonders. Awesome. Alrighty, so I'm just going to roll a couple clips now, just a little bit of strength training at home in my garage. So basically I just want to go over quickly on where my training's been at and the future of this channel, what kind of videos you can expect from me. So basically for the past year or so I've been focusing primarily on building up my running endurance, so just getting more familiar with long runs and just more weekly mileage in general. Now the trade-off that I've experienced from this is a lack of overall strength in my body. I lost a bit of muscle mass and strength, more specifically in my upper body, and found that I'd lost a little bit of speed and strength in my legs as well. And also just started feeling a little bit burnt out, was sort of neglecting the fun aspect of my training. So I've really just dialed things in the last few months and really just focusing on bringing back some of that lost upper body strength and bringing strength and speed back into the legs. So most of my runs, a lot of them have actually been short, powerful runs around the local hill that I really love running. So lots of hill work to bring strength into the legs, and then also some barefoot flat sprints as well. So anywhere from about 100 to 200 meter intervals and going at a pretty fast clip just to really work on my top end speed. And a lot of that just comes down to just mixing things up and just purely doing it for the joy of running fast, really. And I've also been adding back in climbing, so there's not really much rock climbing where I live, unfortunately, but tree climbing is the next best alternative I've found. So I've gone back to climbing trees, and that really just brings a creative sort of freestyle aspect to my training. It also gives me more ideas when I get into the gym and sort of cater my strength training more specifically to climbing and running. And so that's all tying into my goals of racing and obstacle course racing as well. So that's pretty much the training front. Now in terms of future videos, I've had a few conversations with people who are interested in what I do for basically just health. So different sort of lifestyle factors that play into this whole holistic overview of health and longevity. These are things that really interest me, things that have changed my life for the better. So I want to start getting into more vlog style videos where I discuss a certain topic, certain things that I believe are beneficial, and throw in a bit of just training updates as well. I'll still keep in the shoe reviews. The shoe reviews have been well received, so I'll keep doing the shoe reviews as well. But yeah, that's basically in a nutshell where I'm taking this channel for the foreseeable future, and I'll get some more outdoor training footage as well of these different running sessions, these climbing sessions, and yeah, really just share as much knowledge and the journey as possible. So yep, yeah, thanks for watching along. If you got any questions, if you want to come have a yarn, if you're interested in what we're all about over on this channel, then yeah, drop us a comment, let's have a chat, and yeah, thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.